And as you rev it to almost 5,500 RPM, you can hear the engine scream, and it is a note to hear. Hello and welcome to Indian Drives. My name is Yash, and in this video we have with us the latest launch from MG, the Astor. Since the launch of this baby SUV from the family of MG, there has been some serious turbulence in the automotive industry. With its long, extensive list of safety features, the ADAS, the autonomous driving assist features like lane keep assist, speed assist, and the list goes on. With such safety features, this had caused some serious turbulence in the industry and created some serious competition for its rivals. Not only did it come with some extensive list of features, the attractive and competitive pricing against its rivals made it the choice for the buyers in the mid-size segment. And I am pretty excited to drive this car because this is the turbo variant for the Astor. The 1.3 litre tiny engine with that turbo churns out 140 horsepower and 220 Newton meters of torque. So without any further ado, let's just get behind the wheels and tell you how it drives and how it feels with that engine. And before we begin with the actual drive review, let's just have a quick look at the exterior designing elements of the MG Astor. As the MG calls it, the Hawkeye LED headlamps, and they've got the name correct. This definitely looks like a hawk from a distance, and right besides it you can see the premium bold celestial grille, and it has its 3D element protruding towards the outside right on your face, and let me tell you, it looks very premium outside in flesh. To add to the sportiness of the Astor, it gets blacked out treatment over the headlamps and also near the fog lamps arches, and the piano black finishing just doesn't stop there. It also extends towards the alloy wheels, and considering this is the top end Savvy variant, this also gets red brake calipers to tell you from a mile away that this is a sporty variant with the 1.3 litre turbo engine. And on the exterior you can see these protruding lines over here. The driving charismatic lines just extends from the fender here and extends all the way till the back end towards the rear door. And this contour lines does not go back at the rear fender. There's another line that flows over here which adds on to the SUV and the crossover stance of this Astor. So on the outside it is quite similar to the ZS EV, but MG has given it some cosmetic changes from the ZS EV to make it look more like an SUV and a crossover. Like the roof rails on the outside is something that you get on the Astor, but it was not available on the ZS EV. And similarly, there are many other features and many other styling elements that can be seen on the Astor. Let's quickly tell you how comfortable is the Astor on the back seats. Now, my height is 5 feet 10 inches and it feels pretty comfortable to me. The under thigh support is slightly lacking. It is only till your mid thighs and not completing to your full thighs. But nonetheless, the back support is quite cushiony and it's very comfy. You won't feel tired on those long journeys or even in the city drive. If you want, you can use the armrest present over here, and it is actually comfortable. And you can, even with the amounts of knee room that you've got here, if you want, you can even fold your legs for that extra comfort, and you're not going to damage the leather seats or the solid door panels here because of the space that you get. Now moving to the middle passenger, you can easily sit 3 in this rear seat, but the only downside that I feel for the middle passenger is that the armrest over here is not so cushiony for the middle passenger. So once they are seated here, as you can see, my back is quite protruding. It does not has that cushion feel to it, so it's not that comfortable for long journeys, but definitely those city rides will not bother you at all and your friends will not complain. So yes, in the seating department. But yeah, another thing, for the middle passenger, MG has given a thoughtful feature, the headrest. So to compensate for this lack of comfortable back support, you've got a comfortable headrest for the middle passenger. To give you an exact idea of how large this boot space is, I will not tell you the exact volumetric capacity over here. I've just kept some of my camera equipment gears and some of my luggage in not very neat manner, and specifically so that you get an idea how big the boot actually is. As you can see, this tripod stand, the box of it is almost 3 feet and it is protruding out here. So yes, in terms of length, that's how large the Astor is. And in terms of width, you can easily fit 2 large bags and another layer over it. So now that we're seated inside this Astor, let's have a brief review about how does it exactly feel on the driver's seat. Now, the front seats are actually really comfortable with a comfortable headrest, and the main highlight of these seats are the side bolstering, which offer you a good side support. Even when you're doing cornering at high speeds, it holds you in your place because the Astor has a considerable body roll at high speeds. The interior feels quite spacious, and the main reason behind that is the presence of this wide panoramic sky roof. The sky roof allows a lot of light to come inside the cabin, giving you an airy feel, and you won't feel claustrophobic ever, not even at the front seat and not even at the rear seats. Now, from the exterior, the Astor definitely looks more of a crossover than a big SUV, but how does it feel like when you drive? Well, driving this car in the city is an absolute comfort, and it's also very easy at the same time because you are seated quite high, so the visibility is quite good. There is no specific blind spot, I must say, because this A-pillar is also placed quite nicely, so there are no major obstructions while you are driving in terms of the visibility. Speaking of the suspension setup, the Astor comes with a McPherson strut with coil springs on the front, and it comes with a torsion beam at the back. And to be very honest, it is a very well-balanced suspension setup. It is firm enough to give you the comfort that you want in the city driving, and it's also stiff enough for those enthusiastic driving moments when you are taking those corners at high speeds. But keep in mind, when you are cornering this vehicle at high speeds, because of the high center of gravity, there is some considerable body roll. Rest assured, when you are driving this car smoothly, it is almost well placed and it drives well balanced. The steering on this Astor comes with 3 individual settings. One is the urban for the city driving, then is the normal, and then there is dynamic. And these are not just gimmicky features for the namesake, they actually work pretty well. Currently, I'm driving in the peak traffic hours with the urban mode, and the steering is quite light and it can be turned with just my little finger. The normal mode is slightly balanced between the dynamic and the urban mode, and things get interesting when you put the steering wheel into the dynamic mode, as you can feel the weight and the response that you get from the steering wheel. It is an amazing feedback because the Astor then becomes predictable and you exactly know where the front wheels are, and they'll always be exactly where you want them to be. Now, talking about how it drives, well, the specific variant that we're driving right now is the 1.3 liter turbocharged engine that we've already mentioned quite a number of times. Well, in city, it performs really well. When you are driving quite smoothly and in a very light foot manner, it revs almost quite low as 1500 RPMs, and you will not be hearing the engine at all. But as soon as you give it some right foot treatment, you can hear those exhaust notes. The exhaust note is quite punchy, and as you rev it to almost 5500 RPM, you can hear the engine scream, and it is a note to hear. Now, in terms of fuel efficiency, when you're driving in peak traffic hours, you can expect around 8.5 to 9.5 kilometers per liter, but with a smooth flowing traffic, you can get anywhere between 10 to 12 kilometers per liter with this Astor. Now, there are a few nitty-gritties that I liked and disliked about the Astor. For example, one of the coolest features that I liked was that as you approach a diverging junction, the navigation system displays it very clearly which road to take, which is often very confusing while using Google Maps. Secondly, as soon as you flick the indicators, the surround cameras come into action, displaying the blind spots and possible traffic in the lane besides the car. And brownie points to MG for optimizing the ADAS system according to our Indian traffic, because during my drive in traffic conditions, the brake assist worked flawlessly. The brake assist, when set to its highest sensitivity, brakes automatically quite frequently, and the sudden sound of the braking will take some time getting used to. However, you can reduce the sensitivity or disable the feature altogether. Now, the first thing that could be worked on the Astor in the future is an improved audio system. The sound quality is decent, but the Hyundai Creta offers a Bose surround speaker system which goes without saying is the best in segment. Secondly, the main home screen of the infotainment system does not display the option to change the steering modes, and you have to go down further in the settings to access the steering modes, which can be distracting while driving. So with all the segment first ADAS features, it is understandable for MG to cut cost in certain areas, but they should definitely improve these features in the future if they want to stay ahead of the Korean rivals, the Hyundai Creta and the Kia Seltos. The front driver seat is power operated, whereas the passenger seat gets manual control. The Astor also misses out on the wireless charging pad and front ventilated seats, which the Hyundai Creta does offer. Do keep in mind that if you live your life a quarter mile at a time like Vin Diesel, you will have to bear with low fuel efficiency. And speaking of Vin Diesel, the low fuel efficiency in the city definitely makes you crave for a diesel engine in this car. To conclude the review of this turbocharged 1.3 litre Astor, I must say it's an exciting car to drive or to be driven in. The engine, despite of its small cubic capacity, has the punch you'd expect from an SUV of such proportions. The driving experience could have been way better if the engine would have been paired with a DCT gearbox. However, the torque converter works just fine. So with such exciting driving experience and features, you can definitely put your hard-earned money on the Astor without a doubt. So viewers, if you like this review of the MG Astor, do not forget to hit the like button and do subscribe to our channel. And let us know in the comment section what are your thoughts on the 1.3 litre turbocharged MG Astor.
Hi, most welcome, and it's an honor to have you with us for the test drive. Welcome to MG Jubilant Motorworks. It's an honor to have you with us. We have 6 dealerships in Bangalore: Rajaji Nagar, Lavela Road, Kalyan Nagar, Electronic City, JP Nagar, and Madhepura. It's an honor to have you again.